Hi everyone, thank you for joining me here on my show. As everyone knows, in the past year, over 9,000 people in Toronto alone have died or overdosed. Today we address those issues coming from addicts that will be candid and open and tell you their story. Some people are afraid of coming forward, so we thank them for sharing their time. Tonight I sit down to have a candid conversation with brave men who wants to share their stories and hopefully help you. My reason for doing this show is that so many of my friends and coworkers from around the world have died or overdosed. Hopefully we help educate others and that they will learn not to make the same mistakes these men have made. I felt it was time to hear from the people who live day to day with addictions. Please join us for the Stephanie Stevens Show and Conversation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Stephanie Stevens Show. Tonight, we are doing the Men of Addiction. Yes. Now, here's your host from The Imposters and an evening at La Cage, the fabulous Stephanie Stevens.
Thank you guys so much for coming out to my show. I am Stephanie Stevens, and tonight we have the Men of Addiction. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Stephanie Stevens T. Okay, it's a hot topics about all different aspects of what's going on in our community and communities abroad. Thank you guys so much. Now tonight we have a panel of men who are addicted to all sorts of drugs, alcohol, booze, sex, and they're going to talk candidly to you tonight, my YouTube viewers out there, about their struggles with addiction. And now we're going to have to talk. I want the panel to introduce themselves. Hi.
Hi, I'm Patty. I was born originally up north, Penitang Machine. Moved here when I was 3, and my addiction would be crystal meth.
Okay. And you, sir?
Yeah. I'm Mac McLean, right? I'm addicted to booze.
Okay. And what about you, ma'am?
My name is Nevaeh, and I'm addicted to crystal meth, coke, weed, and alcohol.
Okay. Now that we've heard from our panel of people who are open about their addictions, now we're going to start off, like I said, is I'd like to know, I have a couple of questions, and I'm sure the audience wants to know. Family. Family, anybody? Family?
I got family.
Okay.
Yeah,
Siblings?
Yeah, I do, but I got 3 brothers, 3 sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're also, right?
Okay, wonderful. What about you, Navarro?
I have a family of 16.
Okay.
My parents split up. I have a black father and a white mother, and I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, but raised in Toronto after 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
But I have 8 siblings older than me and 8 siblings younger than me, and I'm in the middle.
Okay, what about you, Patty?
Well, my mom had 13 kids, 12 boys, 1 girl.
Oh, wonderful. Big family.
Yes.
Oh. Now, what was your first job, Patty?
Prostitution.
Okay. And what did you get out of that? When did you start doing prostitution?
I did my first client at the age of 14.
Now, did you do prostitution for money for your substance abuse? Or
No,
did
because
you...
at that age I didn't have any substances except for smoking cigarettes. But I mean, no, I did the clients just to have money, just to survive on a daily basis.
Oh, okay. Did anybody else deal with prostitution?
I have.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I got kicked out and ran away from home when I was 13, but I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I started and needed people, and I got a fake ID, and I moved away feeling like I was not taken care of because of my sexuality and my gender and how I wanted to introduce myself. But then I worked underage in a club, and they started prostitution now, and I did it when I was 16.
So, Matt, you are a heterosexual man.
I am a straight man, mate.
Okay. Do you have children?
I do. I got 2 daughters, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 grandsons.
Mm-hmm.
And one
Okay.
And I've tried.
Okay.
Fun, mate. I did.
Okay. So you now, Patty, back to you. What was your first car?
I never owned a car.
You never owned a car.
No.
So how did you get around to
Public
where
transit.
where did you find your clients? Where did you find
On the
them?
street corner.
Okay. So like, is this from your hometown?
No, this was in Toronto.
Oh, it's from Toronto. So like, where would be the area that the
Grosvenor, Bridal Vein back in the early 80s.
So right here in downtown Toronto.
downtown.
Oh, okay. And what about you, Nirvana? Now you're young, Nirvana. Like Nirvana, you're very young.
Yeah, I'm 22,
Mhm.
turning 23 this Saturday on August 4th, Carabana weekend.
Okay.
The community center is also having a celebration. I'm so glad for them, the great community of family and friends. And we could build the experience through the LGBT.
So what made you come to Toronto?
When I was 3.5, my parents were splitting up and my mom was moving back to Toronto, where she was originally from, but grew up more off of Toronto, half an hour away in Caledon. And she said that she wanted to give me a proper life that I wouldn't have had because of my sexuality and my gender coming out at a young age.
When was the first sexual experience for you? Since you're the youngest one, what was the first sexual experience for you? Was it heterosexual or gay?
My first one was actually when I was a little homophobic, shockingly. I got grown up by a lot of stereotypes, typical and like thrown in my face type of gays. And like I was confused about my gender at a very young age. But then at the end of the day, I knew that there was someone missing. I was a twin, but at the end of the day, I lost the connection with her, but I found connection with my sexuality and myself, and I found out who I was.
Okay.
But it started when I was 13, and I'm a 21-year-old.
So Matt, coming to Toronto, when did you start hanging out here? When did you know that Toronto was home for you? And this community was home for you?
Me, like 3 years ago, right? But I was on the street for 10 years, right?
Okay.
The only time like that was I was there for 2006 and 2016, right? On the street here, right? I was planning whatever, problem, whatever, right?
Okay.
And then I got that, not work.
Okay. Now, Patty, now, you know, we've been friends a very long time, and I know you've been around in the business. And now, what is it that you think Nevada is doing wrong in coming to Toronto? Do you, like, what is it that you see? Do you see his path taking the path that you've taken, or do you know her?
No, yeah, I met her the last couple of years. I can't say she's doing anything wrong. I mean, she's working at her own pace. She's working with what she's got. I mean, there wasn't a lot of resources back in the day when I came out, right? As to there is now, right? So I'm not going to sit here and pass judgment or say she's doing anything wrong. She's working with what she feels comfortable working with.
Well, can you offer anybody on this panel any advice so they don't take the course that you take? So now you said that you dealt in crystal meth.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been using crystal meth?
On and off for almost 2 years.
Okay. Have you sought help for this?
No.
Okay.
Now,
Now,
prior to that, I was in the I had a crack addiction for 30 plus years, and when I first found out about the crystal, that I've been clean almost 7 years now of the crack, and I don't use crystal meth daily. I periodically might use it maybe 2 or 3 times in a month.
now,
Harm reduction.
okay. Do you do drugs with others?
I do.
Okay. And what's the experience that you get out of that? What is it? Is it a
You
social?
see, once again, it all depends on the individual, where they're at in their life, or what they're struggling with, could make the trip, not so pretty.
Okay. Now, at the end of the day, what is it that you want the people out there to know, Matt, about you and your addiction? Now, are you seeking help at this time for whatever addiction that you're dealing with?
I'm not doing it my age, but I don't what these people here doing that fucking kids, and what these people doing the crack, nothing. Right.
Okay.
Pretty bad.
So he has a very strong opinion about he doesn't want people doing the crack or the meth. We understand that. We don't want any of our friends doing crack or the meth. Now, with that being said, what was the first place, Patty, you did drugs? What was the first place? Who introduced you to crystal meth?
Well,
Nobody
nobody introduced me. I was living at Ecu Homes, Church in Alexander, and I was still smoking crack.
Okay.
And my neighbor was smoking crystal meth.
Okay.
And I said, "What is that?" He said, "It's crystal meth. How do you do it?" He showed me how to do it. But then when I asked him for one, he wouldn't give me one. But when I
Okay.
offered him money, that changed the thing. And as soon as I did my first hit of crystal meth, the crack addiction was deleted.
Oh, okay. Now,
It's a very I just want to add, it's a very sexual thing too amongst the gay community.
all right.
I find with the crystal meth.
So, did you find it easier to get the boys with the drugs?
It was easier for me to actually engage and communicate with guys instead of like backing down or shying away. With the crystal meth, I'm out there. I'm more forward in engaging.
Okay. Now, how much money in one day would you actually spend on drugs?
Not a hell of a lot, really.
Okay. So,
Well, it depends. I mean,
You was me, right? What you was me, right?
me personally, a 40 bag of Tina would last me a couple days.
okay. Now, would you share that with anybody, or just do it by yourself?
Well, it depends. If you're a hot bottom, then maybe. All right.
That's amazing. Now, if you were to see the young children today, what would you tell them about drug use and the behavior that you actually took part of? What would you tell the young people out there today, or just anybody that you see are heading down that path?
Think twice about getting or starting, whether it be crack or heroin or crystal meth. But then again, in the same token, I'm not here to tell anybody anything. Everybody, like, I mean, I learned the hard way,
Okay.
right? People are going to learn what they want to learn, I guess, when it comes to the drug cartel.
Now, how often in the last year would you say you've done drugs? Once a week, twice a week, 3
Well, like I
times a
said,
week?
it depends, because there was times where I went like 2 weeks smoking crystal meth, and then there was like times where I went like a couple months without using. So it depends. It varies.
All right. So now, do you have a boyfriend?
I
Are you in
do.
a relationship at the
I
moment?
am.
Now, what is this? Is this person also doing crystal meth?
Yes, he is.
Okay. So the two of you have an understanding. Now, so you're responsible? You're a
Yes,
responsible
yes.
meth user.
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. So
I'm,
maybe,
how can I say it? Functional crystal meth user. I pay my bill, I pay my cable, I pay my bills, I pay my rent. Everything's paid before I even dabble.
now, are you still escorting?
No, actually, I see my sugar daddy twice a month, and that's good enough.
Okay. Now, how often do you think about? Does this when you're actually doing the drugs? Do you actually think of having other partners, or are you stuck with just one partner?
No, my partner has asked me. I mean, we've communicated, engaged with each other about having threesomes. But when it comes down to it, it's not a good thing. It doesn't go.
Now, Nirvana, how much money have you spent on drugs or alcohol? And do you use drugs once a week or twice a week?
Usually, actually 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay. Now, how much money do you actually spend a week on drugs or alcohol?
In a week's time, it'd probably be anywhere from $600 to $800. And I used to be a massive addict with some things at a young age due to experiences and life problems. But at the end of the day, I've cut down by over like 3/4 of the way. I'm only at 1/4.
Now,
And I'm still proud, but I know I started addiction and I'm gonna conquer it one day.
have you sought help for your addiction?
Yes, I have sought help for my addiction.
Like what did you do?
Camp.
Where?
I went through KMH also. I knew I had an issue, I had mental health issues, and physical issues, but at the end of the day, I knew I had a problem and I knew what was wrong with me. And I fought for my rights to go in there. I had seizures at the time. I broke down, and they had to wheel me in, and I said I'm not leaving this hospital until I get the answers.
Now,
They medicated me. I had a few addictions to the pills, though, but I had a high immune system where sometimes I got affected by those. But it made me a bigger and stronger person knowing that I had to fight for something. I know I could make it right.
now, how do you feel about other addicts? When you're around other addicts, how does it make you feel? When you see the reaction of the public and they're watching people that they presume are drug addicts or alcoholics, because people watching you from a distance only assume because you're in the product. I'm going to be honest, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, and I drink very rarely. So I've never, my goal here is for my audience to have an understanding about the crystal meth, the alcohol, the sexual addictions that we all sometimes suffer, whether we're away from family, we've lost our family, we've lost our job, we've lost our pride, we've been hurt in relationships. This is why I'm doing this show, is because I want it to be an educational show. And I want people to understand that we are serious about cleaning up the community and getting the people that need help the help that they need. It's my job to do that.
Good for you, Stephanie.
Thank you very much. Now, Matt, you had a wife, right? Did you have a wife, or were you ever married?
Nobody asked me.
Okay, were you ever married?
Nobody asked me.
Oh, nobody ever asked you. Now, Nirvana, since you're the young one, are you in a relationship?
I've actually been in a few. I've recently, only within the last 3 years, been in a gay relationship with a gay partner. I've had bi-curious coming out, if not straight men, approach me and have relationships, if not females. I have an ex-wife and one ex-fiance.
Now, you've heard of CAMH. We've all heard of CAMH. Now, has any of you been there?
No.
Now, what is your experience you had with CAMH?
I had 2 experiences with CAMH. The first time was when I was signing myself in as a patient, checking myself in, and defending my own rights and health, knowing I had issues and seizures, and finally overcoming my problems with addiction and drug use of alcohol and other substances, and telling them I need help. And the second time was when I got put in and accused of something that never happened. I fought it in court, and you know what, it came out that it was nothing what it was supposed to be, but due to the medication and stuff, that they thought I was going into an epileptic seizure, and I made it out of it okay after going flatline.
That's great. That's great. Now, Patty, now this is more of a deeper question for me to ask, because I just think that the audience would like to know. Now, to support your habit in drugs, now when you weren't working or you didn't have any source of income, how did you get money for drugs?
Well, like I said, I mean, when I was a teenager, it was weed and acid, and it was, you got your allowance from your parents. But, I mean, overall, I didn't really start getting into heavy drugs until I hit Montreal.
Okay.
I went to Montreal to work for the weekend. I've been living there 3.5 years, hooked to crack cocaine.
Oh. Now, have you ever stolen to support your habit for drugs?
All the time.
What about you, Nevada? Have you ever stolen to support your habit for drugs?
I've stolen twice, and I got caught once, and as I was getting caught, they thought 2 months thought I was faking, but I went into seizure, and they let me go by bringing me to the hospital. So I'm like, okay, that was a savior. But the next time, I was with my friend in a wheelchair, and we were like, sorry, it's the metal. It's the metal. We melted too many pop cans. We wanted to repair it. It had too many holes.
So, can I just ask a couple more questions, Patty? Because now, what is the direction you're going in now? What are you looking to?
I'm looking for abstinence.
Okay.
I'm currently working in a part-time job. I work at Maggie's
Okay.
as a haberdashery worker.
What is Maggie's?
Maggie's is an organization ran and by sex workers and allies. We support the working girls, people with addictions. We have a drop-in every Wednesday from 2 to 5.
Okay. So, how helpful has Maggie's really been for you?
It's been very helpful. In order, well, let me see. How can I say this? It's been very helpful in the sense where I've gotten all kinds of great support from there. I've met all different sex workers there. It's been amazing.
Now, can I just ask another question, and then I'll take a couple of audience questions. We're halfway through. So now, can you tell us and our audience a family secret? Something, you don't have to get deep, but just tell us something, a family secret, and tell us why you've kept this secret for so long.
No, I can't say I have a family secret because whatever happened to me, I've disclosed to close friends and stuff, so I don't really have any secrets.
Okay. Now, Nevada, do you have any family secrets?
I have a few, but a few small ones are like that.
You only have to tell us one.
Okay, one of my biggest ones is that I'm a very well-known international family of wealth, but like I've been through each stage that I don't judge and I don't try to push it forward and sharing my history with everyone because I don't want them to treat me or disrespect me in a way or treat me a certain way because of my history or my background.
Okay.
And like I have like a famous ice skating.
You don't have to tell us who it is.
And like Elizabeth Manley, for example, and then Michael Manley from the first white prime minister of Jamaica. But at the end of the day, I'm happy for being who I am, and I don't want to push my gender sexuality or the judgment of like having my history affect my future and then now in the present and affect people's lives while I'm being affected by my own life. I'd rather move forward than fall back.
Okay, so where are you now, and are you happy?
Right now, I have a few issues. I'm staying strong. I'm looking forward and avoiding and getting away from a lot of issues. That's building me the immunity and the support and strength to get help and get away from some of my addictions and problems. I've done it before and I cut cold turkey. I almost said dead turkey because I'm like, I just stop it like that. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of myself and I'm gonna do better as long as I see, go tomorrow and think of the now instead of the later.
So what triggers you to use again? What triggers it?
I find some of the triggers are usually sometimes the abuse or emotional statement of someone else that went through something that like you've been through and they're using or offering or giving to you when you've been in the same statement or issue, and it triggers me to use or get or take forward in some of the action or the process of the making of the addiction that causes me to sometimes fall.
Okay.
But I find that's one of the biggest causes of issues and triggers within me and sometimes others around the community.
So what are your goals down the road? What do you want to happen? What do you want to happen for Nevada?
Some of my goals are to go back out and work in entertainment and work internationally for modeling, both male and female, by gender in the industry, and also work on producing my own music and choreography and working with a few artists in the future like I have in the past.
Now, Patty, now you have a relationship and you say you're happy and things are going well. Now, where are you now in your life and are you happy?
I think I won't be happy until this addiction is absolutely deleted. I don't think that I will be as happy to the point where my addiction will be, I'll be absolutely from my addiction is when I think I'll be happy.
All right. Now we have a couple of more questions. Does the audience have a question? Anybody in the audience have a question? Anybody in the audience have a question? Okay. Now, just a couple of more questions and then we're done. Now, Nevada,
Yep.
you are from a small town with a well-to-do family. You have some addictions that you are addressing at this moment. You've attended CAMH, which is a great facility for addictions and mental health and all other kinds of addictions. So we hope you get the help that you need in 2018. Seek it out because there's a lot of people out there that will help you. Matt, you've been a friend for a very long time. So hopefully you will find happiness and you will get the help that you want and you need. And hopefully you will get to see your kids. You will get to see your kids and spend some time with them. We hope that for you. We really do. I really hope you get things going the way. Call them up and say hello. Now, Patty, thank you so much because you shared so much with us and enlightened us in a wonderful way. And hopefully somebody out there in my YouTube land, we have educated you and showed you just a small glimpse of what it's like to be an addict. And hopefully you will seek the help out that you need and understand that there's people that are willing to help you. So if you want to talk, if you want to chat, you can always email me at misstoronto@hotmail.com, or you can Facebook me, Stephanie Stevens. Add me. I will chat with you. You can come on my show. We can talk about a lot of things. Anything that's on your chest, come to us. Find somebody you can talk to. If you're having trouble late night sleeping, you need a friend. Call somebody. You don't have to overdose and you don't need to die. We love you. We love each other. So don't think you're alone, because you're not alone. There's a lot of people around you that are suffering just like you. So at the end of the day, seek the help that you need, and we hope you get the help that you need, because there's so many avenues. Say something. Don't just die. We want you to live. Okay?
Let's go.
Thank you, Patty, so much for being on my show. Anytime you want to talk, you've been a great friend, and I thank you for sticking by me, girl. Thank you. Thank you, Nevada. Thank you very much for coming on my show. Thank you. You don't have to do all that, but thank you. Thank you, Matt. Matt, you have to do that because you're a gentleman.
Ladies.
So thank you to the audience for coming out. And at the end of the day, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm Stephanie Stevens. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening today. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Come on, nigga.